Are you taking a first-time cruise on the Pride of America ship around the Hawaiian Islands and you have questions about excursions? Well, this episode is for you. Aloha and welcome to Mountain Mama, a family lifestyle channel. My name is Mary and this video is all about the excursions that my husband and I took on our first-time cruise around the Hawaiian Islands for our 30th wedding anniversary. First of all, having never taken a cruise before, I had one burning question about excursions that nobody seemed to be able to answer for me. And that question was, should we take an excursion every day on the cruise? Or is that going to be too much? Are we going to wish that we had saved 1 or 2 days to spend on the ship, just enjoying the activities of the ship and being on the ship all day without the hustle and bustle of having to leave and take an excursion? The answer to that question is absolutely yes. By all means, take an excursion every day of the trip. You will still have time to relax and enjoy many activities on the ship. Now, I must add in here that my husband and I are in our mid-50s, were relatively healthy and relatively active for our ages. Yes, by the end of the night, by 9 o'clock, we were ready to go back to our rooms and just chill. But taking an excursion every day would not have hindered us health-wise in any way, and I think it would have only added to our experience on the cruise. That being said, we did take 5 excursions on the trip. So 5 out of the 7 days we were off on an excursion from the ship to shore. One of those excursions is no longer available, so I'm going to review the 4 that are still available that we did take. The first one was on the island of Maui, and it is called the Best of Maui. This was our first time off of the ship on a shore excursion, and my husband and I were really excited. And it was a beautiful tour. We enjoyed it very much. However, I do feel like it was just a little bit tame for the energy level of my husband and I. So I feel like this would be better suited to someone who is older and maybe has some physical challenges and is not up for maybe a more exciting excursion. Do I regret taking it? No, I loved it, but I wouldn't recommend it for someone who is as active as my husband and I. I would recommend it for someone who is less active, who is not able to do as much. I think they would get much more out of it than we did. The second excursion that we took was off the big island of Hawaii, and it was Captain Zodiac's raft adventure, which included snorkeling and dolphin adventure. The raft ride was very exhilarating, and I had never been snorkeling before. It was a wonderful adventure. It was just like what you would see on TV. We saw all kinds of fish, all kinds of coral. I even saw a very small shark. I was wondering about the dolphin part of the adventure because we are in the wild, and of course wild animals are unpredictable. The dolphins did come, they did swim along the raft. It was like they wanted to come and play with us. After we were done with the snorkeling and the dolphins swimming alongside of the raft, we went and toured the shoreline where there was lots of lava rock and lots of lava caves, and that was very cool, very exhilarating as well. I highly recommend this excursion. I think it would be good for all age levels as long as you are very active and very healthy. It was really a wonderful, wonderful experience. I truly felt like we were in Hawaii, like we were doing exciting Hawaiian things that you would do on a fabulous tropical vacation. We also went to a luau on land on the island of Kauai. I believe it's pronounced Luau Kalamaku. And we purchased the premium seating excursion. The premium seats were very, very nice. And because we were sitting so close to the stage, I even got to partake in the luau. The meal was very good. The show was absolutely outstanding. I can't say enough good things about the dancers, the performance, the special effects. It was truly, truly a wonderful event, and I'm so glad we went. For me, it was one of the highlights of the trip. Another really nice thing about this excursion is, I believe we left the ship around 4 p.m. That gave us time to go to the beach that day, and there was a beach very close to where the ship was docked, so we could walk from the ship to the beach. We spent several hours there on the beach. I rented an umbrella and a chair. My husband rented a boogie board. He went swimming. It was just a wonderful afternoon and then a wonderful way to end the evening by going to that luau. Our last excursion was on the island of Oahu, and it was a tour of Pearl Harbor and the USS Missouri, and it also included airport drop-off. I felt like this was probably going to be our only ever trip to Hawaii, and if we were going to Hawaii, we really needed to tour Pearl Harbor. The history there is just so rich and so amazing. I really enjoyed the history, the learning aspect of visiting the harbor, and also the USS Missouri. I was a little disappointed that we couldn't visit the memorial over the ship Arizona because it was closed for repairs, but we were still able to take a boat around the harbor and get close to it. So that kind of made up for it a little bit. Another nice thing about this excursion was we had to get off the ship first thing in the morning. So the tour picked us up from the ship with our luggage. We toured the city of Oahu for a couple hours, and then they dropped us off at Pearl Harbor. We did all the sightseeing there, and then they picked us up and dropped us off at the airport. This allowed us to have a whole nother day off the ship with something to do before we had to fly back home. If you have never toured Pearl Harbor, I highly recommend this excursion. And there you have it. If I was taking this exact same cruise again, I would most definitely plan an excursion every day, and I would still have time to enjoy the activities and relax on the ship as well. I would have absolutely no trouble taking the Zodiac raft adventure again or going to the on-land luau again. Those two were fabulous excursions. I highly recommend them. If I was going a second time, I think I would plan for excursions such as the Zip and Splash, a helicopter tour or volcano tour, touring the waterfalls, or whale watching, because I feel like you're more involved, you're more active in those type of excursions, and it just feels more exhilarating, even though just sitting back and watching is fun too. Thanks for watching. Aloha!